Hey everyone, and another happy lazy Sunday to you, my lovely weekend warriors. I hope the weekend has been good for y'all, and if not, sit back, relax, and let me entertain you for a moment. This weekend's movie is a special event as it has not just one monster, but 4 different types of monsters all ready to duke it out. And since we have a massive battle about to happen, I thought I'd invite a few announcers to make this epic battle a little bit more official. So without further ado, hello everyone and welcome to the Monster Mash, the wrestling event of the history. I'm your host, Bill Boyd, and with me is my co-host, the applesauce man himself, Chris Cross. Haha, thank you, Bill. What we have here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is the battle of the century as the lazy reviewer is taking on the king, the myth, the legend, Godzilla. Yeah, Godzilla's coming fresh off his last win against that Muto in the first movie. I almost feel sorry for that poor Muto. But once Godzilla got her in that headlock, there was no getting out of that man. Right you are, Chris. I believe here's the replay. See how Godzilla's using his strong bite force to hold the Muto right in place and get her right where he wants her? Oh yeah, he did that and gave her a little bit of that 5-alarm justice. Oh man, that was bad. She'll need some real Tums for that burn. Right you are, Chris. But now let's see what the lazy reviewer will do to be able to best the king. Let's get to the review. Godzilla, King of the Monsters, starring Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and Godzilla's biggest adversary, Ghidorah. Godzilla, King of the Monsters takes place right after the first one, and now the world knows that these monsters exist. But Monarch, the secret organization that's dedicated to studying monsters like Godzilla, which, by the way, I have joined them a while ago, and I still have not gotten my cool decoder ring, and it cost me 12 cereal box tops those back. Well, Monarch is convinced that not all the monsters are dangerous, that in fact, some of them are here to be protectors of the Earth. However, the government wants to destroy them all, as they don't want a repeat of what happened in San Francisco. But their biggest nightmares have come true as many of the monsters begin to awaken, including a new apex predator, Ghidorah, who wants to take the top spot but first must contend with Godzilla to see who is going to be the top dog. The first Godzilla was one of my favorite movies of 2014 as we finally get to see Godzilla as he's truly meant to be seen. This powerful force of nature who fights other giant monsters and looks incredibly badass doing it. And many people never thought that we were going to get this sequel, but it is finally here, and well, how did it do? Let's get into the positives. I love all the monsters in this movie, and I mean coming from the old school version of these monsters which were these really cool practical effects, which were ahead of their time in that generation. But these new designs feel so incredibly faithful to what they looked like in the OG movies, as the producer spared no expense in giving all these creatures very detailed looks. And might I add, Mothra is the new best girl. She is hands down my favorite out of all the monsters, and I never thought I'd fall in love with a giant bug, but she's so cute in this movie as her design is just so elegant and colorful. I was just like... There was a lot of emotion coming from these animated monsters because all these giant monsters are just very huge animals, and it made me really feel for them when they got into these fights because they were fighting to survive and others were coming in to try to assert dominance. And when they got hurt, it made it really hard to watch because I've grown to sympathize with many of these creatures. Hey Lazy, how about the fights in the movie? How were those? Glad you asked, viewer. Well, the fights were freaking awesome as these massive titans just go ham on each other, displaying crazy new abilities that make each monster more interesting to watch. Abilities like Thunder Shock and String Shot. Oh wait, that's Pokemon. That still doesn't matter because these monsters' fights are just the highlights of the movie. Oh, okay, let's get into the issues with this movie, and like a very sad Keanu sitting on the street, I too was somewhat disappointed with this movie. And the biggest problem is the human aspect. If you guys have seen my previous reviews, you know that I usually start with letting you guys know who the actors are and what their particular role is. But these scenes are easily the lowest point of the movie, and that sucks because they take a great deal of screen time. Wow, I've never met some people with incredibly low IQs, but everybody in this movie takes the cake. First of all, they're standing there like a bunch of jackasses next to some giant-ass monsters and they don't run. Why aren't you guys running? These creatures don't know you're there and they're about to start to fight and you will be crushed. I know some of these creatures are magnificent looking, but like my friend Ian Malcolm said,
that's how all it starts. And later there's running and screaming.
some characters just make some mind-numbingly idiotic decisions that have some weak motivations behind them. Every character that comes out in this movie is here to do one thing and one thing only, and that is just to spat out cheap, meaningless lines of exposition over and over and again, just characters not really saying anything worthwhile, but spewing historical facts. I was just in the theaters pretty much like, and this is Ghidorah. In the ancient times, he was seen as this deadly force that would destroy many things and then just go into a fray and just destroy things and blah 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 blah. With all that being said, I'm giving Godzilla King of Monsters a C. The monster fights are really epic and a crap ton of fun to watch, but again, the movie just kept focusing on the human aspect, which is the worst part of the movie, and it just made it really slow and boring. But I'd say this is still a pretty solid watch just for the monster fights alone, as we get a little bit more in this one than in the 2014 version, but holy crap, they had a whole 5 years to get this done, but they dropped the ball. Well, that's it for the review, you guys, but let me know, did you guys watch Godzilla King of the Monsters, and what do you think about it? Put your comments in the comments section down below, and give this video a little bit of love by hitting that thumbs up button. It'll really help the channel out. And also, if you'd like to see more of my reviews, subscribe to my channel by hitting that little bell icon, and you'll get notifications anytime I release a new one. Well, thanks for joining me, you guys, and I'll see you next time, and have an amazing rest of the weekend. In Godzilla, because he was the hero we needed. He would be bringing balance back to this earth, righting all the wrongs that humanity has done, and just really bringing us back to a world where we can all live in peace and harmony. Godzilla, America thanks you.